good ideas are great. Execution is everything. And we've got to organize those good ideas so the execution is optimized. So as we walk out of this meeting, we have a list of all the things that we're going to do. And more importantly, they're organized into a calendar. So here we are, third quarter. It's July. We're going to do this. In August, we're going to do this. And in September, we're going to do this. So it's third quarter, Dr. Pete. It's so critically important that we figure out what are the right ideas, owned by the right person, done at the right time.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
At Genesis, we help successful chiropractors implement spinal decompression with a fully turnkey system that handles everything from marketing and new patient generation to systems, protocols, and ongoing support. The result? Massive value for your practice and life-changing outcomes for your patients, all without drugs or surgery. This is the next evolution in chiropractic care. Welcome to Genesis. Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast, chiropractic's #1 business podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And one of the things that I know, Dr. Stephen, is ideas are easy, but implementation is everything. And we're continuing the conversation that we had coming out of a quarterly turn and talking about ideas turning into something that you implement. You can have great ideas. We did an awesome ideation session, a brainstorming session, lots of ideas. Guess what? And this was the same feeling that I have oftentimes when we come up with lots of ideas, but what are we going to actually do? What will we do? What are the things that we're going to commit to taking action on? So Dr. Stephen, this is about what are the things that we're committed to taking action on. And we want to frame this today, this conversation, about how you take action seasonally, how we are paying attention to what season we're in. I'm talking about the season that your patients are in, the season that your practice is in, and making sure that you are taking the appropriate action and you're implementing the things that you're committed to taking action on at the right time. And so we're going to give you guys some insights into, what that looks like for us. And hopefully it translates exactly into what you're doing. And if not, wasn't something you were thinking of doing, Dr. Stephen, that'll be something that you might implement this next quarter as we identify what are the top priorities, what are the things, the most important things to do during the summer as you head into the fall, knowing that this episode is an episode that probably you're going to be consuming, hopefully if you're consuming it on time, right around that transitional stage when you're going from the summer into the fall, following the appear process, assessing, planning, preparing, executing. We want you to execute at the right time in the right way. So Dr. Stephen, looking forward to our conversation here today.
Yeah, it's such a great follow-up to our last episode. If you didn't hear our last episode, double back after this. You don't have to hear that last episode to understand this one or get value from it, but it'll certainly enrich it to understand, like coming off hot, coming rolling out of our quarterly board meeting, our pulse meeting with our leadership team, 2 days of ideation around how can we solve our problems and achieve our goals, right? So how can we improve our new client conversions and how can we improve our reactivation of previously active clients? How can we decrease inactives and the churn rate associated with any business so that ultimately you can increase our net mo, in other words, our total active clients, and ultimately serve more of humanity through all y'all, right? So it probably sounds familiar, but your KPIs are new patient conversions, right? So previously active patients, and of course, those that go inactive, the churn rates is the same, and net momentum is all about total active patients instead of total active clients, right? So guys, we are CEOs just like you guys. We're in it to win it, right? So we're not pontificating from the mountaintop, right? We are in it with you guys. And we are player coaches, right? So we want to be clear on that, right? So we come limping into the room like the rest of you guys, right? A little bit of a trick knee today, right? So because, we had a full-on drag out bar fight of a board meeting that, just bore so much fruit, right? So because you get a whole bunch of people that are highly engaged, highly invested, smart, they have high capacity, and they really want to put themselves to work, put their talent to work to solve the problems and reach our goals. So whenever you get that kind of atmosphere where everybody really cares and they're engaged, man, you know what? It's going to be emotionally charged, and that's exactly where it should be, because we are on mission, on purpose, servant-hearted people just like you, right? So this conversation is a continuation of that conversation, because what pours out of a meeting like that is very often a whole bunch of great ideas, right? So we should do this, and we can do that, and we should start doing more of this, and we can do this better, and we should do this one differently, and let's add this, right? So next thing you know, you get this whole whiteboard full of a whole bunch of great ideas. And all of those ideas are going to require your time, energy, focus, and money, right? Your 4 limited resources. As a CEO, your job is to marshal the 4 limited resources of your team, of your business, all making sure that you're getting the greatest return on investment. In other words, so you can make the biggest impact and the biggest income, right? So how do we take all those great ideas and organize them? You might say that's a great thing to do this quarter. And then that's a great thing to do next quarter. And then maybe that's a great idea, but just that timing is off. Let's put that into the parking lot. I guess I've heard us talk about the parking lot before. It's like, just move that in the parking lot. We're going to capture that. It's a great idea, but it's just not a now great idea, right? So this dimensionality to this, Dr. Pete, that's really important, is you got to recognize it's like, yes, there's great ideas, and then there's the right ideas, and then there's the right time for the right ideas, right? So this is like really where the rubber hits the road when it comes to putting together an action plan. So now you got all these ideas, you've got to organize them into an action plan. And then the final step of it is assigning it to a person and setting it to the calendar, right? So it's like, okay, who's accountable? If it's an action plan, it's do what, by whom, by when. Now let's do what? What's the thing we're going to do? We're going to do more of, we're going to do it better, or we're going to do it differently. By who? Who's going to own it? And by when. In other words, this thing's got to land on a calendar. So here we are. We're in third quarter. I don't know when you're listening to this, but it's third quarter right now. We try to keep these real time and timely for you guys. So if you're listening to this on a Tuesday, good for you. We appreciate you guys as being just consistent and loyal listeners. It's just awesome. And if you know of somebody that you know needs to be in this conversation, please share this with them. Guys, it's just it's the nicest way to say thank you. You guys come and thank us in public when we're out speaking all the time. The best way to say thank you is to help us serve our purpose, right? So help us, help more people, help more people. Please share this podcast, right? So listening to this message, that every chiro needs to hear what we're talking about right now. It's like, good ideas are great, execution is everything, and we've got to organize those good ideas so the execution is optimized. So as we walk out of this meeting, we have a list of all the things that we're going to do. And more importantly, they're organized into a calendar. So here we are, third quarter. It's July. We're going to do this. In August, we're going to do this. And in September, we're going to do this. So it's third quarter, Dr. Pete. It's so critically important that we figure out what are the right ideas, owned by the right person, done at the right time.
So I want to emphasize 3 very specific tools that we use inside of our system, which are vital. I want to reference these. So those of you who are familiar with them, this is going to be, you're going to be nodding your head like, oh yeah. And what I see regularly happen, as we review these on a quarterly basis, is oftentimes as CEOs, we can lose sight of them, right? Because we get so head down, bum up in the execution of the quarter and what we're doing that we lost sight of what were our objectives at the beginning. So one of the things that's most important I want to emphasize right now is when you're resetting your priorities every quarter, updating your goals, updating your KPIs, updating your projects, like you've got to be disciplined about that. And you have to be disciplined about keeping those things in the forefront of your mind. And so we build those into, if you look at the chiropractic operating system, the weekly meeting rhythms, there's places to be have visibility and accountability there. And then in the monthly meetups, we have visibility and accountability. And that's what takes that motion and turns it into movement. So just remember, if you follow the operating system, each one of these tools fits in perfectly. So many of them are actually coming from this milestone moment in your year, these quarterlies. So it's really important. Second thing I wanted to touch on, and I'll hit those tools in just a moment, but what I wanted to hit on is this what we had a conversation during our quarterly, Dr. Stephen, that I felt sometimes some of us need to explain to the rest of the team why this is important. And if you feel that way in your practice, that as, let's say, a chiropractor, you have to try to explain to a Czech LCA a concept, like, don't be frustrated by that. Actually, it's so important to repeat and remind your team why this is important and what we're doing. And I just wanted to emphasize that, because we were having a meeting and we were talking about the importance of understanding the chiropractors' world and what world they live in. And it's different than our world. And their world they live in is the world that their patients live in, because they're serving people, and people function in a very specific calendar and schedule. And so we need to make sure that we serve them who serves them, and who they serve help in many ways dictates how they serve, and how they serve should influence how we serve. So it's like, remember the end in mind. Who is the end in mind? The families in your community, right? Because we know that the families that are in our practice they're healthier, they're safer than those that are not in our practice. We know that that ultimately our product is lifetime family wellness, and our process is lifetime family wellness care. So if that's what we're teaching, and we're supporting the doctors who we serve, who are opening practices, building their practices, scaling and opening multiple practices, like that's what their focus is with them and their team. We got to remember when we're speaking into serving them. So as you as a chiropractor are listening, we know exactly where you're at right now in your practice. We know, because we've been there, done that, and we're in it with hundreds of you every single day. So we know exactly what the priorities. We had to, for a moment, Dr. Stephen, bring that back to the forefront of the rest of our team, who's not necessarily, their world doesn't function
used to
like
interfacing with patients.
our world. Right? Yeah. And so we do that. We did that, and we have to do that. So I just wanted to speak to that if you find yourself needing to, let's say, reorient, recalibrate your team to this is what we do. This is what it feels like to be a chiropractic patient. Maybe your staff never started as a patient. Maybe they just got hired and they came in and they get adjusted as part of their benefit package, which is awesome. But they never went through 3 times a week, twice a week, once a week, bringing their whole family after school and wrestling the kids into the car. Like maybe they never had to go through like paying in full for a care plan, or getting approved by Care Credit, or getting a loan from their father-in-law because they just had to do it. They just maybe never experienced what so many of our patients have to go through to be committed patients. We got to remind them, like, hey, this is what's going on in these people's worlds. This is what it feels like. We need to be empathetic, right? Empathy is, being able to put yourself in the other person's shoes, understanding what they're going through. Empathy doesn't start and stop on day one. I had to learn that lesson. Empathy is, you create connection through empathy. You got to keep connections. And guess how you do that? By staying curious. And that's an empathetic, that's a component of being an empathetic person, is genuinely curious. I'm genuinely curious. We have to stay curious about our people that we're serving. And I hope that you do that in your practice, that when you think about, hey, if a patient dropped out of care for whatever the reason is, we know that 90% of people that leave you, they still love you. That if that happens, recognize there's all sorts of reasons. Go into that reactivation experience and moment, which, by the way, the summer going into the fall is the perfect time to do this. Setting up a campaign in a timely way that meets your patient right where they're at. You got to share with your team, like, this is why we do this reactivation campaign, why we do it right here going into the fall. Because this is when people typically will be picking their head up and they have a moment, they're thinking, they're going through a transition, and this is the ideal time. As an example, Dr. Stephen, we want to make sure that we're being mindful of what each patient is going through, what our communities are going through. And we're doing the same thing for you guys. Like, you should be focusing right now on prepping your campaigns for the fall, which is your reactivation campaigns. There's 2 times of the year that we do them seasonally, and these are built into your calendar. This is the time that you guys, if you haven't built it, you should be building it. If you've already built it, you should be optimizing it and making it better than it was the last time, right? Just continuing and get ready to execute that so that you get an awesome inflection point of reactivations here in the end of third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, Dr. Stephen. So just wanted to speak to those 2 things. The 3 tools really quick: goals worksheet, 90-day project planner, and your accountability grid. Those are the 3 tools. Use those 3 tools to audit your business through the 5 domains, 15 primary functions, identify the points of constraint. Number 1, go through the goals. What were your goals? Where did we come up short? What are our goals for this quarter so that we hit our base case, then best case, set the goals, identify the points of constraint. So 2 is points of constraint to accountability grid. And then those, based on the goals and the points of constraint, what are the projects? What are the most important things that must get done this quarter so that we hit our goals? You guys see it? It's goals, points of constraint, projects. Projects speak to, so there's a red thread through the whole thing. That's how you organize what the most important things are. And I just want to remind our listeners that, hey, that's how you use those tools.
Hey, it's been a minute since we gave away a tool. So why don't we give away that 90-day project planner? So that's a fillable PDF. It's a 2-part PDF. It's got a 3 summary sheet, and then it's got the individual worksheet. So let's give that away, Dr. Pete, because as we're in this conversation, these assignments, these projects have to land somewhere, right? So if we're saying do what, by whom, by when, it's like, what does that look like? Well, it lands on the 90-day project planner. It's one of the tools in the Remarkable CEO program. So we will give that away. You'll see a link down in the show notes and down here below. If you need any help putting that on the ground and being like, okay, walk me through this, we'll jump on a call with you, bring your project with you, and we'll talk you through it and show you how to use it. Just show up with an idea of like, here's my constraint, at least. Like, I'm struggling with new patient attraction, or maybe it's my conversion process. So they're starting, but they're not staying. I got retention constraints, or maybe it's, I don't know who I need to hire next, or my financial machine is broken. Just show up with a constraint, and we will walk you through that using this tool, the 90-day project planner. So you'll literally leave with an action plan for how to solve a problem, right? So Dr. Beat, I love this conversation because ultimately it's something that we'll repeat every quarter, right? So there's 2 times of the year that we really want to focus on these board meetings, and that's the beginning of the year and it's the mid-year. So this is halftime, right? We just came out of our halftime in the locker room being like, okay, let's talk about the first half of the game. What do we win? Where do we learn? Let's move forward. How are we going to dominate in the second half of the game? And that's the spirit of this. And that's how you should come out of these board meetings, being like, okay, we have a game plan, right? So everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So it's like, okay, let's respond to that. Where do we learn? And let's respond intelligently, and let's set up our priorities across these 5 domains and make sure everybody knows exactly what are we going to do, who's going to do it, and by when. Mm-hmm. Now, this seasonality concept is the 3rd dimension, which is the timing. Mm-hmm. And we had such sensitivity around this. Is like, we're talking about July, August, September here in North America. Now, 27% of our clients are in Australasia, so of the hemisphere. So they call this winter, which is really cute. I've been there in the wintertime. I'm from New Hampshire, man. I'll tell you about winter, right? So winter down in Australia is a little different. I love you guys, but that ain't winter, right? So, but we have this consciousness around there in summertime and when kids are off to school and how family schedules work. I mean, you just have to understand, guys, your families have a rhythm, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's how you should think about your calendar from let's call it from a marketing calendar perspective, because I think a lot of chiropractors will organize their businesses according to their marketing calendar, right? So in January, we're focused on this. In February, we're focused on this. In March, we're focused on this. In April, we're focused on this, right? So think about this in the seasonality of this, right? And everybody knows that it's, January is a huge time of the year. Why? Because everybody's coming off of the holiday shit show. It's new year, new you. All the themes are very obvious. And people are like back to the gym, right? They're getting back on the chiropractic table, getting back to health, right? So that's an obvious corridor. January, February, March, huge time of the year, right? So that should be a growth corridor for you. Lean in big time and heavy in your marketing, right? And then you start coming into springtime. April, May, and June. Now we're getting into like spring into wellness, right? So people are starting to get outside. The sunshine's coming out, the cabin fever, right? So people are dealing with allergy issues, all kinds of seasonal depression issues, like thinking about your themes and where you're leaning into your marketing, right? So, and as you get into May, what are we talking about? Well, we know people are going to be going on summer vacation. So what do we want to do? We want to lean in and we start talking more and more about compliance and the importance of rhythm and their scheduling and mapping people out, because families are getting ready to do what? Go on vacation. What does that mean? It doesn't mean everybody's going to the south of France, but you know what? Family schedules change, right? So you have to be preemptively addressing that with your people. The seasonality of pre-summer. Get your calendar right. Make sure you meet your families where they're at ahead of time. It's like, hey, Dr. P, you guys going to take all those kids to the lake again this year? You guys going to Lake George? Yeah. When are you doing that? All right, let's do this. Let's get you guys scheduled for an extra appointment before you guys leave for 2 weeks, and an extra appointment when you get home to catch you up, right? So you build up some momentum, have an awesome vacation. Everybody's healthy, and then we'll clean you up when you get back, right? It's educational opportunity. And what you'll see is instead of you getting the summer slump and having those small weeks during the summer, they're actually the biggest weeks because you have all of these families who are going off on vacations and you're doubling up on the vacation on their visits before and after the vacations. The second part of this, Dr. Pete, is obviously you want to get the family schedule adjusted moving forward through the summer because summer hours are different for families. It's like, hey, I was bringing them in before school or after school. Now I'd like to be able to come in at 10 in the morning. Can I do that and shift the family? Great. Do that proactively and get them set up. And then, of course, the opposite of that in the fall, right? So you start anticipating, it's like, okay, it's back to school in August in the South, September up here in the North. You've got to anticipate that and make sure that you have team meetings about this. You have team trainings about this. Everybody's fully equipped and we are speaking into the patients. And it's not an administrative step. The last piece of this is an administrative step. This is a clinical element and a patient education element. It's an opportunity for education and make sure your patients understand the importance of not just getting adjusted, not just getting adjusted regularly, but getting adjusted regularly in rhythm. Dr. Pete, my favorite time of the year because I'm leaning in on compliance with the seasonality of what's going on with my patient base.
Yeah. So Doc Steven, and so for us, like if you think about this seasonality, it happens all throughout the year. And I wanted to speak to the growth thing. My largest months, I look back over my career in clinic, my biggest months and weeks were always in the summer. You made me think of that when you said that. I thought, you're exactly right. Even though there were vacation times and there were weeks where families were out and people were out, we had more big weeks than the rest of the year, historically, consistently. So this whole idea, you talked about beliefs and our limiting beliefs and how important it is for us to overcome those because they actually are the thing that are holding us back because they're, beliefs drive your behaviors and behaviors your outcomes. So if you shift that belief, and again, I'm not saying we're fighting against the seasonality. You work with it. And this is what you just described, proactively recognizing, hey, camiolas are going up to the lake for 2 weeks. Hey, we're going to get that family rescheduled. Here's exactly how we do it. We're going to talk about that a month before, get that all mapped out, and we're good to go. And now we're good to go because 1 week the camiolas are coming in twice when they normally come in once. And so that week was up, but then the next week when the camiolas were gone, this other family, that's when they're doing their twice. So it all shook out in the end. And you were able to handle the ebbs and flows and not natural ups and downs of that. So that's one of them. Another seasonality, Dr. Steven, is the reactivation or previously active patients. And this is a beautiful time for us to do that. And so for a lot of you, again, if this isn't a project on your project planner, we talked about the project planner, this could be a really great project for, again, it could be your checkout CA. It could be possibly you could give this to a concierge or a tech CA, maybe one of your doctors, even office manager could own this project. A variety of people could own this because it's a marketing project internally. It technically falls under internal marketing in terms of the 5 domains and the function. But again, there's a retention component to it because you already have a relationship established. So it's a combined activity. So you have this information, meaning I know your story already. You've already come in and you've already shared your story with us, and we've already been a part of shaping your story. And
that's right.
We know what that looks like. So we're not unfamiliar with you. So it's not a traditional marketing path. So just recognizing that when you go into a reactivation, it's like picking up with an old friend. Like you reach out to a high school buddy or college buddy you haven't talked to in a while. You're not going in there.
They just got off track.
Yeah, exactly. So I just encourage all of you, because again, we're always looking for opportunities, Dr. Steven, to grow. How can you be growing your business as CEOs? Be thinking about the seasonality opportunities, the lowest hanging fruit opportunities to grow. And we have some great success partners that we work with. I know Jeff Lang made in their company. They do a great job of this.
Yeah, Patient Pilot has an automated reactivation system that is just so awesome. I mean, outsource this, guys. That's like total leveraging Sked. I mean, like these groups work together because they just recognize that this is happening. Listen, guys, it's not, I wonder if it's going to happen. It's happening, right? So in summertime, people get derailed. You're probably feeling that right now if you weren't proactive about this. All of a sudden you look around, it's like, wait a minute, look at the schedule book. What happened? What are our outcomes this month? People get derailed. There's an energy to this. Yeah. So like you said, Dr. Pete, you either capture that energy, redirect it, and have that energy build the biggest weeks of the year, or you're going to be sitting there being, oh my gosh, what has happened? you just did not proactively deal with this, right? So here we are, where you're listening to this right now. It's probably July, early August. There's not a lot of time to waste on this. You've got to get that reactivation campaign started, get that rescheduling. And the fastest way to do it is leverage Sched, leverage Patient Pilot. Have these guys do it. Just have a point of contact, take out your checkbook, cut the check, put it in place, because there's expense to it, but there's nothing more expensive than losing patients.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner, dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy.
Welcome, listeners, to this section of the podcast where I am super excited to introduce Dr. Aaron from Syntropy. Oftentimes we see in the remarkable practice that we meet a couple of different types of chiropractors. There's the owner DC who's looking to scale, looking to have quality associate doctors in their office. And as they're out there in the marketplace looking around, they find people who did really well in school and, all of this. They got great grades and board scores and all of that, but they're not finding the adjusting skills. And the other group is often, there's these solo docs, these docs who are building their practices, who got into school for all the right reasons. They're on purpose and on mission. And they even have business skills, but they're out in the marketplace with their patients or their practice members. And they're becoming disillusioned somewhat with practice because they just aren't getting the amazing results that they've heard are possible with chiropractic. So, certainly what we want to do in the remarkable practice is help more people. And we know as a chiropractic organization that the best way for chiropractors to help people is by being amazing adjusters. And so, you guys, Syntropy has been around TRP as success partners for a few years now. And I've just always really admired you guys and your presence at our immersions. Love getting adjusted by you guys at the immersion. It's a huge perk of going to the immersions. And I'm just really curious from your standpoint. You guys have been doing these seminars for quite a while, teaching adjusting skills. I just want you to be able to express to the listeners here, or the watchers as it might be, what kind of transformations do you typically see in chiropractors who access your services as Syntropy?
Yeah, it's great. We love what you guys are doing, helping more people, help more people. We feel the exact same way. And chiropractic, the essence of it is being able to deliver really quality adjustments, right? And so if you kind of look at the two sort of avatars you spoke about, the DC who's ready to scale, may have been doing it for a little while and wants some more freedom and wants to grow their practice and have a bigger impact. But they're running into this thing. We see it all the time where we'll have DCs who are like, I'm ready to scale, but I have these associates coming in. They're lovely people. They have great personalities. Everything lines up right, but their hands are horrible. Okay. And they're like, I go away and then all my patients are complaining and then I can't go away anymore. And so what we've seen is we've actually been able to pair up chiropractors that come to our seminars with new grads that come fresh out of school who are in the Syntropy model, and they're thrilled, both sides, because it allows the new grad to come in and have, working in a successful practice and have a really great learning experience. And it allows the DC that wants to scale to have freedom and to be able to grow their practice. And we've seen it time and time again. It's really awesome. Wow. And that's why that's why we love working with you all and being part of TRP, because it's like glove on a hand. It just fits perfectly,
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I mean, I honestly have a bit of goosebumps just thinking about the idea of young docs, coming out of school with, again, on purpose, on mission. They've already been to your trainings, because when I've been to your trainings, there are lots of students there, which is great. There's also lots of docs who've been in it way longer than I have there. It's such a diversity. But I'm thinking of these young docs coming out. They already have Syntropy training. Now that we're having TRP clubs on campuses, you could have the build skills coming out of school and the adjusting skills coming out of school. Man, how marketable would that student be in the marketplace? That would be amazing. I'd sign up, yes,
for sure.
Please. That's the associate I want.
Well, for sure. And that's what we talk about. We talk about we need more strong fundamental chiropractors, and we need to know who we are and what we do, own that with confidence, be able to communicate well, which is what you guys do masterfully, and be able to deliver the goods, you know? And if you can have those three things, it's a match made in heaven, and practice is so much easier. On the other side of things, there's the other avatar who's kind of a solo practitioner, just wants to grow their business. And like you said, either not experiencing the miracles in chiropractic, which honestly should be the norm, um, or they're beating up their body. Okay. Like they're going in, they're like, yeah, practice results are pretty good, but I'm so beat up at the end of the day. I want to grow my practice, but I'm super beat up already. There is no way their subconscious is going to let them grow if they're already beat up seeing whatever number of patients that they're seeing. And so we've had a lot of people who have had like amazing transformations in their practice where they've actually doubled their practice. Like we've had several. There's a chiropractor, I won't mention his name because I haven't asked him for his permission, but he's in North Carolina and he's doubled his practice just because he's like, I just couldn't do it. There's no way I could get through the day. I was just so tired and beat up. And then after learning how to adjust this way, I feel great and my practice doubled, you know? So
Yeah.
it's pretty sweet.
That's amazing. I mean, we all appreciate the power of innate intelligence, and if innate intelligence is experiencing this stress of adjusting,
Yes.
it's going to put a cap on capacity for sure.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, from my experience, so I was in practice for nearly 18 years before I came to any of your trainings, and I fancy myself a good adjuster. I was getting great results, just amazing things that we see. And I have an associate who, fortunately, I hired, 4 years ago, and had good hands. Was a good adjuster. But we both went to your seminar and learned new things, new tweaks, and came back with completely revived energy about practice, which is really translated into both results and the experience we're having in the office. So I suppose that's the other one is people, who do have a good set of associates already and looking to increase the energy, looking to have a little bit of a boost with, our own like passion to show up and,
Mhm.
do even better adjustments, that sort of thing. I'm sure you see that a lot as well.
We see that all the time. We talk about there's four B's, right? We talk about being bored, beat up, burnout, and then finally bound to the table. Like I'm chained to the table and I can't get away from it. And so, yeah, you may be like, no, I'm doing great. I'm happy in practice and everything, but you start maybe sort of just going through the motions,
Yeah.
and then coming and getting excited about adjusting again, getting excited about the miracles that you can see in practice, reconnecting with your team while you're there. It just brings the passion back. You don't feel like you're really punching the clock.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the board and the burnout thing. I think it's kind of the same thing. And yeah, so we see that as well. You've got all sorts of different chiropractors that come in. You've got students and then chiropractors that have been in practice for like 45 years. And somewhere along, their journey in chiropractic, we have different struggles that we go through and we can always fine tune our skills. We do that with our communication. I know you guys are masters at that. Your communication and procedures, your team building, the whole thing is so masterfully done that I think a lot of times we forget to continue to master our adjusting skills. It's
Yeah.
like having the most amazing restaurant, the most amazing steakhouse that has the most wonderfully trained staff, and then their steak is crappy. Okay. You've got to serve the steak. You've got to go to Hal's Steakhouse in Atlanta and you got to get a steak there. And it's like they deliver every single time. I think we need to deliver every time as chiropractors. And I think we are just not doing it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be said. We gotta deliver the steak, right? We gotta deliver the steak, and most of us could get better at it. There aren't enough good chiropractic training, groups out there. In fact, so my background is actually as a professional educator, and I've been to a lot of different seminars over the years, and I show up, and sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they're not that good. And then I showed up at your guys' seminar, and I gotta say, from an educational standpoint, I've never seen it so good. 90 docs in the room, two of you training us. You could hear a pin drop in there. Everybody was focused and dropped in and learning those skills and really drilling on it. And then I was super excited that because there was a little bit of like, okay, this is great, but man, the next one isn't, I'm coming to Chicago in August. It's like, okay, it's going to be months between. But you guys also have the academy option now. So you talk about sharpening skills and keeping working on it. I think this is a game changer for the profession, for docs, whether they're associates, owners, whatever, to be able to log in and keep training on the skills with your guys' training. You want to talk a little bit about the academy?
Yeah, I appreciate that. We love it. It's something we were a little bit kind of scared to put out there. You put all your IP out there, and all of a sudden, oh God, is everyone going to steal it or whatever? And then you just realize life is so short. Get it out there. What do we want? We want to train amazing chiropractors. And so Patrick and I did it. We put every single adjustment, all of the biomechanics, the analysis, the doctor and patient setup, force application. There's videos of us adjusting on there. Like, it's pretty awesome. And then so people will come to a seminar, and what we don't want is that peak experience that's sort of the jacuzzi. And then when you get out of the jacuzzi, you drop down, it's cold outside. And so we developed the academy as a continuation of the seminars so that you can continue to train and get better and jump on weekly coaching calls and continue to get support from us so that when you come back to the seminar in Chicago, you're ready to go. Like, you haven't missed a beat and you can take your game to the next level. Yeah. And we love it. We're very, very passionate about this. We absolutely love helping chiropractors, as you've seen. You've been to the seminar, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's so great. Anytime that I interact with a group, a company that I know if docs do their stuff, they will get better results and they will be better chiropractors and they will help more people, I get super excited about it. And I'm positive that if a doc does a manual style adjustment to begin with, they show up at your seminar, they are gonna get better. So tell people, how do they access, like, where do they go? How do they learn more about you, and how do they get to your seminars?
Okay, first thing, easy thing, is you can get our free adjusting videos. We have 33 free adjusting videos that you can just grab. We're happy to send those to you. I think we'll pop up a QR code or a link that your listeners can grab. And then every 2 weeks, we send out a Technique Tuesday video where you can just fine tune your technique. So that's one way. We'd obviously love to have you at a live seminar. That's where we can really, that's the game changer. Yeah. And so for all the TRP docs, we have a discount code as well. It's TRP docs, all capital letters. So when you check out, you get 20% off, 20% off of the live seminars just for being a TRP member. I'm sure you'll send that out as well. So those are two real easy ways. And yeah, it'd be an honor for us to help any of your docs. We love what you're doing, and there's just so much, it just fits very, very well together. So yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of synergy, Syntropy with that for sure.
There is synergy, big time.
That's great. Check out that QR.
So we'd love to help any.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say to the listeners, check out that QR code. If you're TRP doc already, go to TRP docs as you're signing up for the seminars. And certainly, there's the TRP docs that show up at these seminars. Let's get together. Let's have dinner. Let's talk about the combo of these things for sure. Any last words, Aaron? I
would also say, we are success partners with TRP. And so Patrick is usually there. He's based in the States. So he pretty much goes to all of the immersions. And then if he's there, go say hello, get adjusted by him. And yeah, that's also a real easy way to get in contact. So yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Thank you for doing what you do. Look forward to a long relationship together.
Pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.